Hi guys. Okay, so another message that God gave me yesterday, not yesterday, a couple of days ago, and he said it again this morning. Actually, he did say it again this morning, but he also said it a couple of days ago. The Lord said, this is you'll know it's your message, but I think it's gonna help a lot of us. Okay, the Lord said, do not settle. Do not settle. I know sometimes being still and letting go of control issues when it comes to when something's going to happen, how something's going to happen, it can be hard sometimes. But when God says he has something for you, best believe there's a reason why patience is required. Okay, I just talked about maturity level. A part of the patience could be maturity level. Maybe for you being mature enough to receive the breakthrough, or maybe someone else that's going to be a part of your purpose, their maturity level has to be worked on, right? Or overall, there may be other things going on behind the scenes that God is requiring you to be patient because of, right? So God just said, do not settle. Don't settle. If you know what God has for you, do not go after anything less than what God has shown you he has for you. Okay? Don't let people try to convince you based on their own projection that you need to settle. Oftentimes this happens when it comes to generational curses in families, when it comes to the type of people you're hanging around, the type of friends you have around you. Some people, because they may not have done the work, they may not understand value and being worthy, or feeling worthy of more. They may not understand all that, so they may not go after anything that is valuable because of that, because they have not done the work. Therefore, sometimes they can project that on you. I know a lot of people have experienced the same thing with families. Sometimes you may come from a family where everybody settles. Everyone just works whatever job that's available. Everyone just settles. Even when it comes to relationships, some people just settle and they end up staying in these toxic, abusive relationships where it doesn't go anywhere. And, they don't end up receiving the type of love that is actually out there, the type of love that actually exists. You see what I'm saying? And oftentimes people will project that. Like, you may see like a father or a mother projecting, telling their child, hey, you need to work this job because I work this job, so you need to work this job. Or I think you should marry that person. Especially when you're coming from a family where you're a black sheep or a scapegoat, sometimes your family will try to push you into toxic relationships because that's what they're used to. But anything that that indicates someone actually loving you, someone wanting to treat you like a king or a queen that you are, it's almost like there's a lot of sabotage when it comes to that. You guys notice that? Like, why is it when you find someone that is for you and actually loves you, people try to sabotage it? But then when it's something that's toxic and you're going to be miserable, people like cheer it on. That's why you got to pay attention to things like that. But that's another reason why God does pull you away from certain people once you start unlearning certain things in your life and relearning things through Christ. He pulls you away from people because if you're around a lot of people who have learned something specific, they will project that on you. And you are not going to be able to be renewed the way how God wants you to be renewed. But if you remove yourself from certain people and you just focus on God and you're building a relationship, God can actually start molding you into who he sees you as, okay? Who he wants you to be and who he has called you to be, okay? And whoever God has called you to be, obviously that comes with value, that comes with worthiness, that comes with all of that, right? So this is another reason why God will tell you to remove yourself from certain people. This is why another reason why a lot of you guys attract hate, because a lot of you guys know you deserve better. You don't want to settle. You want to be different from people in your family. You want to be different from the friends you had in your past. You want to be different from society. You want to have the best because the best is what God has promised you. And a lot of people may hate that. They may envy that because you see your value, you know your value, right? And you go after what it is that God requires you to go after. So I just want to say, do not settle. Do not settle. There's a lot of distractions out here and the enemy is very busy. Okay. I know there's people out here who put on this, you have to be careful, because people out there that put on this image of, I serve God, I love God, you know, I'm a man of God, or I'm a woman of God. And really and truly, they just use God's name, but they're truly not for God in their heart. And a lot of times the devil will send some of these people in your life, and you can also be tricked in thinking it's a good man or woman just because they speak of God, but they don't have God in their heart. Do you see what I'm saying? And you can be tricked just based on that. So I always tell people, really just focus on whatever God has told you he wants you to do. Whatever God has told you he wants you to do, do not accept anything less than what God has told you he wants you to do, or what God has told you he has for you. Do not accept anything less. Anything less is a counterfeit. The devil will try to mimic something to look the same as to what God has for you, and it's a replica of the original, which is God's original. Don't get tricked, because I'm telling you, there's people that will use God's name just for you to open doors. Just don't settle for anything less. Don't settle for anything less. You know what I mean? It's really bad out here. Let me just say that. It's really bad out here, and just stick to what God has for you. Okay? I'm going to give you guys an example. I've had people reach out to me saying they're my kingdom husband, and they're not. And they reach out to me, and it's almost like sometimes they copy and paste emails they sent to other women and send it to me, and they don't even realize that in the paragraphs it's saying a whole nother woman's name, but then they're using God's name in the actual paragraph. And even though I already have a person, sometimes I see the emails and I ignore them. But there was one time where I actually decided to open it because I wanted to respond and tell them to leave me alone. And that's when I saw the paragraph, and I'm like, this is really disturbing that people actually copy and paste emails and send it to multiple women and forget to change the names. And they are using God's name in the actual email, in the actual prayer in the email. They are using God's name, and this is what they're actually doing. And it let me know that people are not afraid to use God's name to make themselves look a certain way to try to get you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it just let me know that people are not afraid to do that, and it's very disturbing. It just made me feel bad for the women out there women and men out there who are still waiting to get confirmation from God about who their person is. But these type of people will come in and distract you, or these type of people will come in, people, you know, knowing that they're giving the same women messages, or knowing that they're talking to more than one person, knowing that they're jumping from person to person. It's just scary that these people are out there while people are out there trying to figure out who their person is, and the people can fall into these traps. And that's why I say, men and ladies, do not settle for anything less than what God has already promised you. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how frustrated you are. If he has said something, God is not a man that he shall lie. If he has said something to you, best believe it's going to happen. Do not settle for anything less because the journey is too tough, or no. Do not settle for anything less. I also want to remind you, analyze your maturity level. Make sure that you have your heart and mind and everything, body, spirit, everything in the right place before you think you are worthy of what it is that God promised you, because you want to make sure that you are obeying him and you are walking in full obedience. So when you receive what he has for you, you know you well deserved it. You know you well deserved it. Do not lower your value for anybody. Do not lower your standards for anybody. Go after what it is God has promised you. Receive nothing less than what God has promised you. You know, and just know that. Okay? Do not settle. I love you guys. Bye.